Sure. Let's get the other ending real fast. New game. So we're just going to zip through all of the dialogue. That one temple, go evil. I guess we might as well change...
Why don't we change what this initial option was just to see?
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay, so he attempts, and then you trust his judgment?
Yeah, you trust him in his judgment.
But he gets struck. Okay,
yeah,
he's
so
struck
same deal.
between worlds. All right. Unleashes the rift. You're afflicted by your loss.
Okay, we'll go from there. But yeah, to agree with what you were saying during the boss fight, this is a perfect student project kind of thing. And she was running in that boss fight. I've mastered the combat a little bit better now. Anyway, but yeah, so like, it's short, it's sweet, it's to the point. It has a nice set of mechanics, couple of light puzzles, fun characters to interact with.
And the only thing that really separates this from a fully fleshed out game is really just additional levels, additional maps, more characters, more... You know what I mean? This is just... It's like the first chapter of something.
Yeah. Like, if you wanted to, you could just add...
You could have several more locales, several more guardians, several more temples.
Powers to pick up, progression, some extra HP, and yeah, you'd actually have like a fully functional and full-length game. For better or worse, I think this tells a fine story. And I guess as somebody that values short things, because then I can pick them up, put them down, and just be like, yeah, this is a fun little game. We'll still have to go down to the beach to get rid of those spirits, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because they'll probably yell at us otherwise.
We have to collect the memories.
But I don't know. I don't know how this did from like a like class project performance thing. But like if I were a teacher checking this out, I'd probably give it a very solid grade.
I would have definitely given it an A.
Yeah. But then again, teachers probably just like, not enough butts. 0 out of 3.
It's not realistic enough. It's
Yeah.
too stylized. Oh, our art teachers were definitely like that. Sci-fi fantasy.
You should have done this with cut paper.
Oh no. Yeah, in our senior year, we were still cutting paper.
Yeah. Head of our illustration project was a dimensional illustrator using paper and clay and stuff. It's
I did like
cool
that. He
medium.
did allow us to do sculptures for that final project instead if we really wanted to, which I rather liked.
Yeah, it was nice. But he, like, I think for our final review, the teacher is just like, you know, you could have, like, you could do all these things to, like, really spruce it up and make it look good. And I'm like, I already have a job. I just graduated. Like, our performance review is...
We were also trying to focus on our portfolios. None of our senior classes were focused on portfolio creation.
Digital stuff. Yeah, it was awful. Like, imagine, I guess an easy way to describe this would be...
So many people's portfolios at the end of their 4 years at our school were just a bunch of mixed media, never in a consistent style or a consistent topic.
Yeah.
And I had to spend so much time outside of class working on my own things to make a portfolio, and even then...
Like, imagine if you were, I guess, actually a game design student. Your final years rolls around, you're trying to make a portfolio, and your teacher is an old, like... Oh, shoot. What's the company that makes Monopoly? Like
Parker Brothers and stuff?
He's like an old Parker Brothers
but the
like,
thing
game
is,
designer.
making a board game would have been cool, but it
wouldn't be very good portfolio stuff.
It wouldn't be a good portfolio.
Like, that would absolutely be a great class to teach. Is, like, make a board game over the course of, like, a school year.
I want to make a board game.
Yeah, like making a board game would be cool.
I want to make my own RPG.
But it would be
like,
awful to be
RPG.
like forced into that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially during arguably the most crucial time for you. What's another example? I guess, say you're going into being a chef, and your senior year rolls around, and they immediately put you into quick order fry cook line stuff. If that makes sense. Or what are other things that it's like, it's close but no cigar?
It would... So it's genre, it's medium.
And it's...
I'm trying to think of something that would be an equivalent.
Business law, and then for your entire senior year you have to study farm law for some reason. You had to make a board game as part of your graphic design. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with making the board game, but like, say if you're applying to
Well, there's a lot of graphic design that goes into board games, from fonts and...
Yeah, and I think that sort of thing's fine. I think it's more the point of, like, imagine if you're applying at, let's say, electronic arts, and you need to have some, like, example games under your belt, but your teacher only lets you make board games and whatnot for your last year. So instead of having anything representative of your current programming skill, you have, like, weird remix Monopoly things and a couple other, like, arguably cool board games, but nothing that EA probably cares about unless they've suddenly started a board game division or something. Yeah, you had to make a board game as final project freshman year. Yeah, and I think that's it. Like, freshman year makes perfect sense. But, well, like, senior year right before you're going off into the working world, not so much so.
I always thought
unless,
that
of course, you're speccing into board game design.
Freshman year should be about, yes, like, anatomy, the basics, and introducing you to different mediums. I think that's fine. And then sophomore year should have been learning about the different types of art and illustration. So we had book, we had cartooning, we had illustration, we had... Yeah, there's just so many of those as well. But then I think junior year, you should have been allowed to choose, this is the medium and this is the genre I'm going to focus on. And because if you had that year, so many people would have probably been able to develop portfolios for internships.
Yep.
Very few people that I knew ever got internships by that time. And then senior year would have been great for, yeah, work on a personal project that you can put towards your portfolio. So if someone was going to be a comic book illustrator, have them make a graphic novel that year. If they were wanting to get into concept art, have them concept out the characters, the
platform to preach.
Wait,
I will say though, like, this is a really solid. Like, we should get back on track for Atma for a little bit.
Oh, Atma, yes. So
the main reason why I bring this up is just because
this is phenomenal for a school project.
Yeah. Like, having just this sitting around in your portfolio, quick hour-long thing, anybody interviewing you could totally just take a look at this and
you
be like...
You can say that you've shipped a game, and actually that's what our school is doing now. They're actually having a studio dedicated to bringing in game and illustration.
So I've told you they've sent me games, right?
Yep.
They're all bad.
Well, who knows who maybe it's the higher-ups that are coming up with the concepts and giving the work to the kids, whereas this I can tell was lovingly made and...
Yeah, I have no idea who the lead on this project was, if it was all self-directed or what, but it is... Like, it could have
been an instance where they cooperatively wrote a short story together and came up with the character designs and what they wanted to have for the puzzle elements and the aesthetic. can always look at the credits afterwards just to see.
Yep.
I don't know. I was just thinking it would have been nice focusing on these kind of things in school.
Yeah. I mean, I tried. Kinda.
Yeah, you did participate in a game jam, didn't you?
Sort of. The problem was, I had a bunch of classmates that were...
The problem with game jam is it's what, a weekend or a week? Or was it a day?
1 weekend.
1 weekend.
So
That's too little time to really make much of anything.
I tried doing game jams with people. I tried, like, latching myself onto game designers that I knew to make, like, their... I tried convincing them, and they're like, hey, let's try making a game together. Like, why not? And they're like, cool. Yeah. And then they never did anything. Mm-hmm. There was literally one game designer that I knew that actually...
It was a completely voluntary project as well.
Let's see.
But also for working collaboratively on an undertaking as large as a game.
You really do need all hands on board. You can't... Mm-hmm. You can't have, like, one person be like, yeah, I'll kind of work on it here and there. Like, you really do need everybody working on the thing. I was in a... But it was definitely one of those where, like...
The one up top still has a...
it's
the one on the bottom?
Yeah,
oh,
it's
okay.
the bottom one.
Alright.
But yeah, I would have absolutely done artwork, but, like, half the game designers that I knew, very specifically, either were younger than me, or weren't motivated to, like, make their own games. Which kind of sucked. What I should have done was probably done more, like, game jams with people that weren't in the, weren't in my frat.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, tried to meet new people. But, I mean, it's worked out now. And at this point, I could probably try and get involved in, like, the Portland Indie Game Squad and actually start doing game development there. Maybe. Time is an issue, though. I'd love to just kind of make my own things at some point when my schedule isn't just, like, infinite games.
Yeah, you're actually intrigued by the prospect of making...
Visual novels.
Yeah, visual novels.
Without, like, the dating aspect, but just, like, more or less a story, kind of choose your own adventure, maybe, like, you know, you kind of walk around like this and interact with some things, but for the most part, it's just, like, to give you this sense of I'm exploring a world instead.
It would be quite the challenge to have all of the branching dialogue trees.
I think just filling it out substantively, I think, would be the biggest challenge.
Mm-hmm. That too. But really, you'd have to have a solid plan for the story itself.
Yeah, and that would take some writing. I'd probably start by making the bare bones for the visual novel so I could put it together.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd probably write the story. Because I'd much rather have a playable but nonsensical visual novel that's just like, put the schmibbit and the webbit.
Oh.
And
enemies.
But, you know, something that you could load up, pick, like, A, B, and C, and have different results every single time. Assuming this doesn't reach, because that'd be hilarious. I know there's, like, visual novel makers and stuff, but I don't know if that would be a good idea. They tend to... only result in rather cheap-looking games, which makes it a little harder.
Well, the thing is, as artists, we want to make the assets to our games. If something else could handle the code, though, that'd be nice. But I know that you've learned an amount of coding.
Sort of. It's been years. So my one problem is,
You would think, though, that for coding a visual novel, it would be in the circumstance that someone picks this option, it accesses this response.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's simpler than I think it is, but more complicated than it looks.
Oh, definitely.
Huh. Your friend's senior project was to be a team lead and develop a game in Unreal, upload it to Steam, and then listen to reviews and criticisms until they got 25 positive reviews. The game was called Perilous Peak, might still be there. It's a top-down isometric shooter. That's actually really cool. I honestly, for those of you aspiring game designers out there,
Yeah, people having their student products put up on
yeah,
projects.
that sounds like an
Steam.
absolutely brilliant thing. I would say it's probably better to put it on itch.io just because Steam is this like horrible bloated mess, and like please don't contribute to that unless your game is like seriously high quality. This one I have a tough time telling on because like on one hand it's great, on the other hand like this really belongs on itch.io.
What is it?
Itch.io is...
I've seen more people linking to it recently.
It's a website meant for like in progress or like small hobby games.
Because I thought Newgrounds had a lot of games too.
Productions.
Back in the
Newgrounds
day.
has a lot of Flash games. This is more for like people that are learning game design and improving their craft and like working on beta demos and so on and so forth. Yeah, it's gone. It was 2009.
All right, so absorb it.
Absorb it.
Let's see what happens.
Let us be evil. But that said, like, that is an absolutely brilliant way to improve, like, your craft and get better at it.
Ooh, there's a finality to those pieces falling to the ground. Are there going to be more creatures outside attacking you? Ooh, look at that. Everything's extinguished. The water is green.
Yeah, no birds flitting about.
Whispers.
Oh boy.
Oh, whoa.
We did a bad.
Well, it's probably more of the spirit world invading the real realm. Are there even going to be any people to greet you, or are they all going to be dead?
Oh, Shaya, you made the right choice.
Oh, yep. More spirits attacking.
Cutscene.
Wait.
I know our love was stronger. I can't wait to meet you again, my love.
All the people are gathered at the town square, though. What's going to happen? Are you going to have to deal with the spirits? Are they all going to admonish you for dooming them?
Almost really moved about our alpacas. I don't know how to cheer her up. Oh, is really moved about our alpacas. I don't know how to cheer her up. I miss the abundance of the old times, when food kept flowing and the days were warm. I don't know what's happening, but I hope it'll end quickly so I can get back to work.
Shaya, one of our alpacas died a few hours ago. Maybe it's time for us to leave this place.
Shaya, the ornithologist left us. He died without warning, and Navika told me the corruption gained entirely the Hava Temple. I don't know what's happening. What? Dark days have yet to come. I sent the kids back home and gathered to discuss the crisis. But well, that cutscene broke. Actually, Shell?
Is this broken? Can
it
you
broke
move?
really bad.
Oh no! Is it because you were talking with one and then the other?
I go back to main menu.
Okay, can we continue?
Let's see if I can continue. Because, yeah, it was because we were fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there we go. So this time I will fight the birds beforehand.
Yes. Oh, there they emerge.
There we go. I thought there were 4 of them. I guess not. I'm not sure. Let an alpaca die. No. I'd say I'm sorry, but I have no soul, apparently.
We're just trying to see the alternative ending, but yes, this is... And it's so disturbing that... Yep, Atma's just like, our love is stronger. But... if she brings him back, what kind of world will be left to them?
I don't know what's happening, but I hope it'll end quickly so I can get back to work. Shaya, the ornithologist left us. He died without warning, and Navika told me the corruption gained it entirely the Hava Temple.
I think you broke it again.
Yeah.
I think you just don't talk to him.
Yeah.
Just walk right by him, and because what happens is talking to the deer triggers the other guy to speak, and then it's an endless.
Oh, because they're all close together, their dialogue. The dialogue interrupt. Oh, because yeah, we've never had any of the NPCs near each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, effectively, it's trying to have us talk to like 4 people at once, and it freaks out. That's hilarious. So I should probably say this now to any aspiring game developers. 1, this is cool. You should try and do this before you graduate if you can. 2, some YouTubers might actually give your project the light of day. We make great QA people. I can't promise that I'll be able to check out every student project. But I'd like to if they look this good. But yeah, we'll just not talk to him.
Yeah, at this point we've heard their dialogue, and you can just pass right through.
Yep.
Because the one guy said he sent the kids inside. Yeah, she has her bit about the alpaca.
Okay, we're good to go.
But the ornithologist died outright.
Remember his Urja?
Oh, that was his Urja. Mm-hmm.
Come now, I'm waiting for you in my tomb.
Oh, more birds. Oh, additional ones. Oh, I hope this doesn't ruin everything.
We'll see.
I see you decided to absorb the Urja. Keeping all that power for yourself. You really think this will help you bring Atma back? How foolish of you. Prepare for your punishment, young guardian. Maybe when you get to the tomb and
Yama?
you try to... Yeah, maybe Yama punishes you.
I was assuming she was
They're
gonna
not even
attack us.
blue, the orbs. They're right at this point. But then again, everything... If you notice, were there leaves falling from the trees prior? Or is this new? Everything is slowly starting to die.
Unfortunately, I was not paying that much attention. It's now time to face our fate. I'm waiting for you inside. Join me, my love.
Will it still result in a boss battle? Or will it just be the end?
Isn't this game free on Steam? Yep, it is. Which is cool.
Oh.
So here you are, Shaya. A young, humble, and promising guardian. But it seems like your loss afflicted you in a way I could never have imagined. You defied death and destroyed nature's balance, which you swore to protect, and what for, in the faint hope you'd become powerful enough to bring your lover back? I, Yama, god of fate, am the only one who can draw the lines of each creature's destiny. Watch me wipe out everything that matters to you, as my divine punishment.
So is Yama using him as a focus? But then how was it that in the quote-unquote good ending he succeeded in summoning Yama? Or is Yama an evil spirit all along? Could you imagine if everyone is worshipping a holy deity that's actually really evil? Has it ever happened in a work of fiction that you've read?
I'm sure, yeah.
There are ones that have ulterior motives or ones that don't even exist. But I don't know if I've ever read of one that is just outright evil unless they were something the villains were already worshipping or trying to resurrect. But there are probably examples of it. Is there anything different about this boss encounter aside from the color palette?
Unfortunately, I would say this is a bit of a weakness for the game. Not a huge one, but like... the last face keeps, like, not being targetable. Or not getting hit. It's like I'm not shooting it, but it's fine.
Oh, there he goes. Getting sucked back in.
So yeah, same boss.
Why waste the sacred Urja in such a desperate attempt to bring you back? Do I really need you, my eternal lover, to live what's left of my life? I'm sorry I destroyed what we protected together. I love you, Atma.
So it's just the depressing ending. Oh well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, kind of disappointing on the second route through. Just because same boss, functionally, they could have at least like tinted him a different color, added
Also,
some like extra
I was surprised
bits.
that he wasn't brought back. And
Yeah.
and it was a, we're together again, but now everything is in ruin situation.
I think in a different game with more of a budget and I'm sure more time, they could have done more. But it's very clear that they made the good ending functional and good, and then they're like, let's just make.
I noticed that the they didn't even capitalize Atma and such in the other ending. Maybe it was just because it was a
style thing. I don't know. Either way, very cool game, very cool student project, and I hope they go on to make more games like this. But obviously, longer, more developed, and so on and so forth. But I'm thoroughly impressed.
I really enjoyed the character design, even though I didn't understand quite what all of the creatures were.
No.
But
that's fine.
They were fun.
Yeah.
And I do wonder if Yamo is supposed to be benevolent or if he was always this spiteful, and I don't know. It's just very interesting. And it would have been interesting to learn more about the lore for what they had planned for this realm, but very pretty.
For sure. Oh, I guess with that, thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next time. And thank you, Team Atma, for sending this to me. You guys did a great job, though I'm sure you've heard that from us already.